unmute everybody, but if you mute everybody, but if you at the end and catch your hand and catch your hand. Just a minute to go. We normally get a few stragglers, so I'll just hang on. And today it's mat Pilates, so we are mainly on the mat, apart from the last, perhaps the last exercise actually. And lots of clients have been complaining about hip stiffness, and some of it's our age, but I think a lot of it is how we're living at the moment. So even if you're somebody that normally drives a lot, you're in and out of the car and you're moving those hips a little bit more. So we thought we've done it a few times this week with different clients, and everybody seems to have enjoyed it. So I hope you guys will too. Even if you've got injuries, you should be okay with everything. Just to remember to reduce the range of movement. So if you've got any problems with your shoulders or your arms, if we're going up over your head, just don't take it so far. Just go within your range, challenge yourself, but you shouldn't feel any pain. Okay, so it's past, that should be everybody in, but watch, if I'm diving towards the screen, you know we've got a late straggler. So good morning, everybody. It's so lovely to see you. Love seeing you on a Friday. So if you can get onto your mats to start, I'm loitering because I am just conscious that we do get a couple of people that come in quite late. Okay, right, so happy Friday. So as I've just explained, most of today's class is about hip mobility. There is strengthening there as well, because it's no good mobilising without strengthening. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, well, I'm going to start anyway, and the stragglers, I'm afraid, are going to miss out. You have to go on to live. So let's start by lying on the mat. I did have one class that said, could we stay here for the whole of the class? But no, we're definitely going to do some work this morning. So what I want you to do to start with is hands onto your tummy and shoulders level on the mat, hips level on the mat, feet in line with hips, and also elongate the spine. So you can lie here, but actually quite crunch. So I tend to put my elbows down, raise my spine up, and really stretch along the mat. You'll feel that difference. Chin away from the chest, nice and long through the neck. So what we're going to start with is a couple of Pilates breaths. So we haven't done these for a couple of weeks, but put your hands onto your tummy and relax your abdominal muscles. Now, for us ladies, that can be quite difficult to do, so I am so used to holding it in just to get my jeans on, basically. Right, what I want you to do, relax the abdominal muscles, take a breath in through the nose, and as you do, push that air to the bottom of your lungs, the bottom of your rib cage. Feel that rib cage expand. As you do, your diaphragm lowers, and you should feel that tummy just expand. Now, as you exhale, the tummy will naturally retract. And let's do that one again. Deep breath in, breathing in through the nose, pushing that air to the bottom of the rib cage. Really feel these ribs flare, which is brilliant to strengthen through these intercostal muscles. Tummy expand, and as you exhale this time, draw up through the pelvic floor. So as if you're holding a wee, but don't snatch it, just do it gently. And what you'll find is that helps you connect with all those lovely core muscles that we're looking for to stabilize the hips, the spine, and everything else that's going on. Okay, so a warm-up starts on the floor, hands stay on your tummy, thumbs towards your tummy button and fingertips towards your pubic bone. We're going to start with the clock. So just as a reminder, your tummy is as a clock face, your tummy button is 12 o'clock, you've got an invisible marble, you're going to roll the marble towards 12, and then your pubic bone 6, and roll the marble towards 6. Now, nice and relaxed through the neck, just get that movement going, don't force anything. Now remember, you're cold at the moment, so it might not move very much. Just try and get that lower spine mobilized. By putting your hands onto your tummy as well, you're connecting with the area that we work in. That really helps those messages to the brain. So, balance. Oops, Daisy, what's happened there?
Sorry, I'm not sure what I'm meant to be doing.
Okay. I'll say it again, sorry, somebody's just unmuted themselves. So you've got your hands onto your hips, we're tipping your hips. So tip your hips, so tilt your hips towards 12 o'clock, hands onto your tummy, tipping towards 12, and then tipping away. So it's just this pelvis that's moving forwards and backwards. Both butt cheeks stay onto the mat. Okay, now settle it back into the middle. Now take it from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So pelvic clock here, 12 o'clock tummy button, 6 o'clock pubic bone, and then 3 and 9 o'clock. Now all I'm doing is very gently moving the hips from side to side. So it's just mobilizing through the hips. Just very gently, side to side. So it might be a very small movement. If you're very stiff in this area, you might find that it's hardly moving at all, but it will improve. Okay. Settle those down, level them off. Now this time we're going to do circles all the way around the clock face. So it's pelvic circles. Tip the pelvis towards 12 o'clock. So pubic bones raising, and then drawing, as if you're drawing a circle with your hips, circling those hips all the way around. Okay, now change direction. And release. Okay, right. Level those hips off. Feet on the mat. Float those hands up above the chest, nice and long through the neck. And we're just going with marching arms. So one arm towards the hips and one up and over the head. As I said earlier, if you do have a problem with your shoulders, just don't take it quite so far. If you find that you have to raise your chest to get your arm towards the mat, again, reduce that range of movement. So at the moment, we're just warming up. This is the prep phase for the main part of the class. Nice and long through the neck. And just working into the shoulders. If some of these moves are very new to you and you don't understand, just try and follow as much as you can and then message me later and I'm happy to jump on and just go through them with you one-to-one. It's difficult when we've got a mixed range in the group. Everything today should be fairly straightforward, but if not, I'm more than happy after the class to spend some time with anybody one-to-one. Okay, right, float those arms up above your chest. Nice and long through the neck again. So we're going to do shoulder raises. So reaching towards the ceiling, keeping the arms straight, and then drop within that shoulder joint. Nice and long through the neck. So it's not, so sometimes people are trying to bend their arms. Keep your arms straight, palms facing inward, chest height, reach and lower. So you're mobilizing through the whole shoulder girdle. You'll feel it's a strength move as well through the chest. Again, if you're very stiff in this area, you might not get much movement. Don't worry about that. Just getting that connection with this area of your body, just reconnecting, all of that just helps, just the practice. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now opposite arm to leg, sliding away. So slide your leg along the mat and the opposite arm is coming up and over the head and then drawing in. Now the teaching points of this, keep your hips level so you're not rocking from side to side. And you go as far as you can. Now just speed it up a little bit. So you're starting to engage the core, working through the hip, again working through the shoulder. Nice and long through the neck, keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. So good for the brain function when you do anything opposite arm to leg. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, arms back above your chest. And what we're going to do now is take 2 knees towards the floor one side and both arms in the opposite direction. Take your gaze towards the fingers and then up and over. Now, when we do this later on in the class, we're pushing your knees to the floor. I'm not looking for that. It's just a movement from side to side just to warm up. Now switch that core on so you're not pulling on your back. A reminder to use your core, you draw it through your pelvic floor. So again, as if you're holding a weight. It should help. Those that are more experienced, you will do it naturally, but if you're a beginner, you might need a little bit of help. So it shouldn't pull on your back if you're using your core. And it's literally just a nice warm up from side to side. So you've got rotation through the spine. And just that nice movement through the hips, through the shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Should be a little bit warmer. Come back to the center. Take your hands to the side of your hips. And we're just going to do alternate knee raises. So one knee up to 90 degrees and then the other. Okay. Nice and long through the neck. Keep the chin away from the chest. If it helps, put your hands on your hips because you need to keep these hips level. So it's a movement from the hip. Neutral spine means you should still have a gap between your back and the mat. And relax through that neck. Just waking up the abs, waking up the core. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet back towards the mat. Okay, now we're going to do some nice arm circles. So take those arms up above the head again, but as far as you can. So if it's here, that's fine. Draw a circle around with the arms down to the hips and then up and over. And watch what's happening with this rib cage, with your chest. If you're raising it up and arching through the back, basically don't drop that chest down. So it's a movement through the shoulders and not through the spine. And concentrate on what's happening with your shoulder blades at the back or with your arms generally. Are they level? Are you finding you're stiffer in one side than the other? One more in that direction. And then change direction. And it's the same move. I always find it very different when I change direction in this move. It's stretching across the front of my arms much more. It's a really good one. It's a good one to do in the morning just to wake everything up. Okay, one more. And release. Okay, take those knees up to 90 degrees, hands behind your thighs, and rock yourselves up to sitting. Lovely. Okay, onto your sitting bones. So that's the bony part of your bottom. We're going to roll like a ball. So I think most of you have done this with me before. I recognise a lot of the names. If you're unsure, I'll give you a regression. So for absolute beginners, hands behind your thighs, and you're just going to curl back and come back to sitting. For everybody else that's done this before, onto those sitting bones, take the feet off the floor. You're going to curl through spine, shoulders away from the ears, roll onto the shoulders, and then back up to sitting. Now be aware not to flick these legs. Slightly more advanced, you can put your hands in front onto your shin, not your chins. Okay, so when you're ready, curl, try and get onto the shoulders and back up to sitting. Now some people think it's about spine mobility, it's about spine strength as well, but you've got to maintain this curl position. So you're actually using your abs as well. More advanced, as you come up to sitting, onto those sitting bones, you can always take your hands away. I know I've got some advanced ones in this group. Do a little bit of a balance and then back. But it's the rolling that I'm looking for as far onto your shoulders as you can. And as I said, if you are a beginner, you can actually just use the ball and just curling back and coming up. Keeping those hips level, chin away from the chest. So this is a good starting point to get you used to that movement. But rolling like a ball is a fantastic mobility for the spine, also control. So if you can do 3 more of those, whichever level you're doing. I'm definitely multitasking this morning on this one. Back up to sitting, make sure you always come to that sitting bones, sitting nice and tall. See curling off the spine. Okay, and go for your last one. And then come back to sitting. Well done, I can see lots of rolling going on. Fantastic. Okay, sitting nice and tall, all about alignment and posture. So those bony parts of your bottom, sitting bones, stack everything above it, so you're sitting nice and tall. We've done this one before. This is called climbing the tree. So hands behind your thigh, just raise one foot off the mat, still sitting nice and tall. And you're all going to be at different levels with this. If I show you what we're aiming for, but if you don't reach that, do not worry. Okay, extend the leg, don't lock the leg out. Walk the hands towards the ankle. Now I say towards, if you don't get there, don't worry. And feel that stretch. I can hear you squealing now. Okay, right. Walk your hands back down to the back of your thigh. C curl. Come down to the mat and bring that leg towards your chest. Nice and long through the neck. Walk the hands again up towards the ankle. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, relax and try and bring it a little bit closer. And relax. Hands down behind your thigh. Now for those ones really good, head and shoulders off the mat and back to sitting. Sitting nice and tall, change legs. So raise the leg up, hands behind the thigh, onto those sitting bones. Make sure you're open through the chest. Extend the leg, walk the hands up, getting a good stretch. Not here. So if you find that you're curling through the spine, bring the hands a little bit lower. Hands behind the thigh, C curl down to the mat, nice and controlled. Legs coming towards your chest. Walk back, your hands back up towards your ankle. Hold it, breath in, breathe out, relax and take it a little bit closer. Okay. Down behind your thigh, head and shoulders off the mat and up to sitting. Okay, right, brilliant. Okay, hands behind your thighs again. This time you're just going to C curl and come all the way down to the mat. Now have your ball quite close to you. You don't need it for the first couple of exercises, but make sure it's quite close to you. So once again, check your alignment on the mat. Shoulders are level, hips are level, nice and long through the spine and through the neck, gap between the chin and the chest. Now for beginners, what we're going to do knee drops to one side. So point one foot to the floor, keep the other supporting knee still, and you're going to take one knee down towards the mat and back. Okay, so you're going to do 10 each side, keeping the hips level. Now only go as far as you can without rolling. Yeah, so you're switching on the core, you're working through the hips as well. Now for those that are more advanced, you can come up to 90 degrees and do exactly the same thing. So I'm lowering that knee towards the floor, so opening out through the hip and coming back to 90 degrees, keeping those hips level. Nice, and try not to grip through the neck. Sometimes I find I tend to grip through the neck a little bit when I'm doing this. So try and relax, really concentrate on this area. Also keeping those hips level, which isn't easy. Now always challenge yourself, so try something new, but I much prefer you to be doing really having good alignment and doing it at this more basic level than trying to do the harder level and your body swinging all over the place. So we're going for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release, change sides, so foot flat on the floor, other one onto pointed toes. Do exactly the same as you did on the first side. So if you raised it up to 90 degrees, do that. Don't forget to breathe. And those hips nice and level. You've got your hands on your tummy. You can usually feel all those little muscles moving just to keep you in that lovely alignment. Again, you can come up to this 90 degrees. It's exactly the same move. Push that supporting foot into the mat. That knee should stay still. If you're in doubt, just have a little peek at it. Make sure it's not having its own party. So we're going 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. Release. Okay, extend one leg along the mat. Bring the other one up to 90 degrees. Those hips level, shoulders level again, hands out to the side. We're going to do circles with the knee, but what I want you to imagine is you're drawing a circle with the thigh bone, not with the knee. So as you take the leg across the body, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, connect with that core and drawing a circle with that thigh bone. If I say with your knee, it's a slightly different movement. So imagine you're drawing it with your thigh bone, keeping those hips level. So we're mobilizing through the hips, we're strengthening through the hips. So keep breathing. So if you take the breath in when it comes across the body. Now, if there's anybody, I know if Linda's in this class, Linda, and if you've got any more advanced, you can actually do it with a straight leg. Still keeping those shoulders on the mat, keeping those hips level. Please don't go for an advanced move without really mastering. I say low level, it's just a prep for the higher level. So change direction with that knee. I'm drawing with the thigh bone. Try not to grip with the neck. I'm giving you all my bad habits, that's what I do, gripping with the neck. And let's go for 2 more. And the last one. And release. Okay, change legs. So up to 90 degrees, arms out to the side. And when you're ready, knee comes across the body, so you're breathing in. As you take it away, breathe out, connecting with that core. So you're not pulling on your back. You should have that neutral spine all the way throughout. Then think about doing the circle. It might not feel like circles, it might feel like squares sometimes if you're a bit stiff in the hips. Okay, now change direction. Last one. And release. Okay, 2 feet towards the mat, hands to the side of your hips. We're going to do some shoulder bridges, but not full holding ones. We're just going to do some nice movements. So following on from what we did in the prep phase, so tipping the hips. So hands to the side. The reason I want your hands to the side, I want you to press your hands into the side as you're raising the hips up. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, draw up to that pelvic floor, tip your pelvis towards 12, raise those hips up towards the ceiling, push through the heels, squeeze the glutes, keeping the chest down and pushing the hands, and then come all the way back down, vertebrae by vertebrae, hips are the last thing, onto the mat, and again. So nice flowing movements, quick ones today, just up and down. So we're mobilizing through the spine, strengthening the glutes. We've got hip stability going on. We've got shoulder stability as well. Keep those hips level. If you are in doubt, you're worried about that, put your hands onto your hips just to check that they are level. Okay, a few more of these. It's a great mobilization exercise. And if you feel any pressure on your neck, drop that chest down. Let's go 2 more. And the last one. And release. Okay, right, we're coming into a move with the piriformis muscle. So take 1 foot across the other knee, open out through the hips. So you're getting a nice opening out there. Take your hands out to the side, we'll need that for stability. Now we're going to lower the knees towards one side. So I'm going pointed foot first. Head and shoulders stay on the mat. So lowering pointed foot towards the floor. Using your core, bring it back to the center. And then over to the other side. So the bent knees coming down towards the floor. So lovely rotation through the spine. Using those abdominals, but also the obliques, so the muscles running down the side of your body. Let's go again. This is a really lovely exercise. Head and chest towards the ceiling, shoulders on the mat. So 1 more. Up and over. So it's a strengthening move as well as a mobility move. Back to the center. And knee towards the floor. Okay. Now what I want you to do is bring those knees towards you. So for a piriformis stretch, so knee towards your chest. Now if that's enough for you, stay there. If you want a little bit more, take your hand behind your thigh and draw your knees towards your chest, or nice and long through the neck. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. That's a brilliant stretch. And release. Take that foot towards the floor, hands to the side. Now we're going to come into hip lifts from here. So a bit like we did the shoulder bridges, but it's a straight up lift. Two hips going up towards the ceiling and then lowering. If you can, don't touch the mat, just hover. And we're going for 10 here, nice and long through the neck. Now you're really working just into that one glute. Push through the heel. Don't worry if you're not moving very far. It's quite difficult in this position to do that. So you've got that nice hip opening as well. Squeeze those glutes. So I think we have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Change legs. So 2 feet to the mat. 1 foot across the knee, open out through the hips, arms out to the side. So we start with those lowers. So point your toes coming towards the floor, up and over, and then bent knee over to the other side. Head and shoulders stays on the mat. And let's go again. So feel that lovely stretch through the hips. There's obliques kicking in as well. Okay, last set. So point your toe towards the mat. Back to the centre. And the knee. Back to the centre. Fantastic. Now bring those knees towards your chest. As I said, for an extra stretch, you take your hands behind your thigh. Draw those knees in. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, squeeze it a bit closer. And release. Foot towards the mat. Keep that hip nice and wide. Hands towards the floor. We're going for the hip raises. So keeping that chest down. Squeeze the glute. Try just to hover that bottom off the floor. Try not to grip through the neck. You might find it much harder on one side than the other. Squeeze that glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Brilliant. Okay, grab your ball, put your feet on top of the ball, extend those legs away, and take your arms over your head as far as you're able. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'll just show you the legs first. Bring your feet towards your bottom as you do, open your legs wide, so into a froggy. Okay, and extend away. Now with the arms, as the feet are coming in, the arms are coming up and over and just coming to the top of your thigh and then extending away. Push down on that ball so you create a bit of tension. So you're really mobilizing through the hips, obviously keeping the shoulders mobilized as well. Nice and long through the neck. Push down on the ball, you'll feel the difference. You're really working those inner thighs. And then really reach away, nice and long as you extend away. Hips level, shoulders level on the mat. There we go. 5. 4. 3. 2, and 1. Okay, fantastic. Extend those legs away. Put one foot on top of the ball and the other leg on the floor. Take your hands behind your head. Now cradle your head into your hands. Don't pull on the neck. Keep the elbows nice and wide. So keep the legs where they are. And just a couple of warm-ups of C-curl. So you're taking your head and shoulder off the mat. Make sure your shoulder blades are down. Keep that chin off the chest and the gaze is going forwards and upwards and slowly lower down. Now, with the legs, what we're going to do is bring that ball towards your bottom, push down onto the ball, and then extend away. Now, anybody that's more advanced, you start doing that. Anybody that's more advanced, you can actually raise your straight leg and slowly lower it down. Nice and controlled, keeping those hips level. If you struggle with anything with your legs, you can just do the C-curl. bringing your knee in will do the trick. Just keep those elbows nice and wide. Don't pull on that neck. Keep the chin away from the chest and those hips level. So whatever level you're at, we're going for 10. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend away, change legs. So whichever level you did on that side, make sure you do it on the same on the other side. So head cradled into the hands, foot on top of the ball, deep curl up, bringing that ball towards your bottom, push down on the ball and extend away. More advanced, you can do the same thing with the ball and then raising the straight leg up and down. So lots of nice control going on. Should feel it into those abdominal muscles. Use strengthening through the chest and through the shoulders as well. Don't forget to breathe. So I do a breath in as I'm stretched away, and on the exertion I'm breathing out. So we're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and the last one, and release. Well done, everybody. Okay, so if you can come onto your sides, just take the ball out to one side to start with. What we're going to do here is we're going to come into level clams. So you can do it at different levels. You come onto your elbows actually into 90 degrees. If you've got any shoulder issues, you can actually do this flat onto the floor. Stack those hips, stack the knees, stack the feet, and raise this underneath the waist. So push this top hip away, otherwise you've got this curve into your spine. Now we're going to do leg raises, so the knee are level, the ankle and the knee are level. Remember to get some connection through the shoulder so you're not sinking. Don't worry about how high you raise it, just challenge yourself. Again, remember this underneath waist. So you feel this deep into the glutes. Feel it into this hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, stay on this side. Extend this bottom leg, take the top foot up and over, and again, raise this underneath waist. If you are struggling with your shoulder, you can come down to the mat. We're going to do an inner thigh exercise. So we're going to raise this leg and lower. Raise the underneath leg and lower. So it might not move very far at all. Then you're working into that hip, working into the inner thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Okay, push yourselves up, come up to the other side. We'll start with those, I call them level clams. So hip stacked, knee stacked, ankle stacked. Raise this underneath the chest, and when you're ready, raise and lower. So the knee and ankle are at the same height, as opposed to the other clams we sometimes do. Nice, slowly and controlled. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Extend that bottom leg, foot up and over. Coming into this inner thigh strengthener. Raise this underneath waist. They seem a bit awkward when you first start these, but they do improve. 5, 4, 3, 2, and one, release. Okay, grab those balls again. I know some of you enjoy this exercise, so onto your backs. So mainly mat base today. Lift those hips up and ball underneath your bottom. Now it's at the top of your bottom, not in the small of your back. If you're an absolute beginner, leave the ball out of it. Or if you want to give it a go, give it a go. Hands to the side, make sure the hips are level on the ball. We'll use the ball because it really just challenges the core. Take one knee up to 90 degrees and bring the second one up to 90 degrees. Get yourselves nice and stable before extending the legs towards the ceiling. Now don't worry if your legs aren't straight. Don't worry at all. Okay, here we're just going to flex and point the legs. Feel that lovely stretch. Good for your circulation as well. Nice and long from the neck, through the neck, so my chin's away from my chest. And just feel that lovely stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, separate the feet slightly. Now rotate the hips inwards, so my toes are coming together, and then my heels, and then rotate out. So it's a great way to do it on the ball. Just get some great movement through your hips, so rotating. So my knees are coming towards each other, and then away. So it literally is just doing this with my legs. So feel it into those hips. If you need to drop your feet down at any time, if you're struggling in this area, just take a rest, and then set yourselves up. Okay, and relax. So feet towards the ceiling, hands towards the floor. We're just going to come out to straddle, flex the feet and squeeze together. So point and open. Now don't worry how far out you can get them. Legs, feet flexed and draw them together. For those that are more advanced, you can put your hands above your chest. So your core is working really hard to keep you stable on the ball. And you're muted, so I can't hear if anybody's falling off the ball, where we do sometimes get that. So we've got hip stability, shoulder stability, working through the inner thigh as well. So say, put your hands on the mat if you need to. If it's just a small movement here, that's absolutely fine. If you're just slightly coming off center, that's absolutely fine. Just go challenge yourselves. So we're going to go 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, take one foot down and then the other. Raise those hips up and take that ball away. Now, onto all fours and very slowly just come onto your knees. Okay, just double checking the time. So if you've got knee issues, this one, you might just want to leave this one out. Actually, grab your ball. Or just come into this position actually and open out through the hips, standing nice and tall. My knees are hip distance apart, ball into the hands. I'm just showing to start with, we're just going to lean back, keeping the body straight and coming back up. Really strengthening through the quads. Now, the reason I've got the ball is so as I'm coming back, I'm extending the arms forward and then back. Do as many as you can do. Shouldn't feel any pain, but if you do have knee issues, I would literally just come onto all fours and just practice. If you know what side cat, happy cat is, literally just mobilizing through the spine, or just take a rest for a moment. We're not doing too many of these. Really working into those quads, strengthening around the knees. I've got a couple of people with knee injuries who are doing these, but smaller movements just to strengthen. Let's go for 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back onto your knees. Make sure, try and get in line here. Now, as we do our squats in our normal warm-ups, you're taking your bottom tailbone towards your heels, but we're not dropping the chest. So head and chest up, and then open out through the hips, squeeze the glutes, coming back up. So slowly and controlled, tailbone towards the heels, and then drawing back up. So extend head and shoulder, head and chest up, hand up. So we're working into the glutes. You feel it into your abdominal muscles. Nice mobility opening out through the hips. I quite like this one. 5. Really slow. 4. 3. 3, 2, and last one. And 1, and release. Okay, ball onto the floor, 2 hands on top of the ball. Now this depends on your strength and your ability. What we're going to do is push the ball forward, coming onto your forearms. So it could be you just here. If you're more advanced, you can take it all the way out and drop those hips down into a 3/4 plank. Push on the ball to draw back in. So find your challenge. So let me do that again. 2 hands on top of the ball and pushing the ball forwards, coming onto my forearms. You have to fiddle with it a little bit to get the positioning correct. So I'm using my core already to keep stable. But as I drop my hips, you know, you've really got to work quite hard to be in that position, and then coming back up. If you're really wobbling, take it back. Don't go all the way down. If you're feeling it through your back, you've gone too far, you're not using your core. So just take it, just reduce it. So you're just coming here and back in. If you're a real beginner, just pushing it forward, raising the hips up a little bit and back. But create some tension in your arms, so push down on the ball. You can feel that working into your shoulders. So it's a real good all over exercise. Now, knowing me, I'm running out of time. Let's just do 2 more. Oh, I have so many exercises I'd like to do with you. Let's go, last one. And then back. Okay, right, slightly different threading the needle for you today. A little bit of stretching just to finish. So 2 hands onto the ball, extend away, get your bottom into the air. If you've got shoulder issues, take the ball away. But if you're okay in your shoulders, extend away, drop that head down and feel that stretch. You're also stabilising on the ball, so there's a bit of core work going on. Hold it there. As I say, if you've got any issues with your shoulders, take the ball away. If you can, keep one hand on the ball, and we're going to thread the needle. So rotation through the top half of the spine, extend that top arm, and release. Change sides. Get an extra stretch when we use the ball. Back to the centre and release. Okay, let's come on to your bottoms. I'm just going to do a nice little mermaid to finish. We've got 2-3 minutes. So, knees in, sitting in mermaid, sitting bones down towards the mat. Again, if you've got any knee issues, either bring this leg forward or 2 legs like this. Or if you've got any real hip issues, I find if you extend this leg to start, that also helps. Hand on top of the ball. Now create pressure on the ball. Don't just flop because that you're putting strain onto this shoulder. Open out through the chest. You're going to push the ball away onto your forearms. Extend over. And if you want to, you can extend this leg. A really good stretch. And then back. Back to the sitting bones. And let's go again. Up and over. Really reach away. And all the way back. Sitting bones back to the mat. Last one. Reaching up and over, and back. Okay, ball in front of that forward knee, rotate the shoulders towards the ball, 2 hands on top of the ball, and take your weight forward, pushing the ball away, tension onto the ball, press down onto the ball, drop the head down, feel that into the glutes. See, having you on mute, I can't hear anybody squealing. And again. I find this one really does work deep into glutes. And the next one, last one. And release. Okay, change sides. If you do struggle in these positions and you cannot get your sitting bones anywhere near the mat, you can always put a cushion underneath your bottom and work your way down. Front leg should be parallel with the mat, so you've either got this knee at 90 degrees, or foot in front, or extending out to the side. Hand on top of the ball, going nice and tall through the spine. Press down on the ball as you're coming up and over, and if you want to, you can extend that top leg. And then push down on the ball to come back to sitting. Nice and tall, let's go again. Up and over, really reaching away. And back to sitting. Always bring those sitting bones back towards the mat. Last one. And back to sitting. Okay, ball to the knee, rotate the shoulders, 2 hands on the ball, press down on the ball, push it away, rock that head down, taking your weight forward, push down on the ball to bring it back. So everyone's got a nice bit of tension into the arms so they continue to work. Again. And back. And the last one. And release. Okay, sit cross legs, sit on your awkward side, so the side you wouldn't normally sit on. Your legs forward. Okay, sitting bones down. Try and drop those knees down, open out through the chest, sitting nice and tall. Okay, opposite hand to the knee. And rotate towards the back of the room. And then release. Change sides. So literally reach up really tall with your spine before you rotate. And then back to the centre. Okay, just finishing off with your neck. Take your chin to your chest, let the weight of the head come forward. And slowly rotate to one side, so taking your ear towards your shoulder. And then rolling it all the way around to the other side. So don't push anything down, just let the weight of your head come forward. Once more each side. And the last one. And back to the centre. Okay, slowly raise that head up, arms out to the side. Take a deep breath in, reach towards the ceiling. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, spread those fingers really wide. And let's do that again. Breath in, reaching up, nice and tall. And exhale, and spread those fingers. And we're done. So thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that. As I said, if you've got any questions, just give me a DM and I'm happy to chat with anybody if you've got any injuries or anything you want to talk to me about. But if you want to unmute yourselves and say a quick hello, that'd be good. I'm just going to stop the recording.